Yeah.
As I have discussed in the last class, root, the next part is stem. Stem, what you are seeing outside, which is the long one. So, what it contains mainly nodes and internodes at the one places. So, the stem, it is the aerial part, which is the aerial part of the plant body. The aerial part of the plant body which contains the stem, branches, leaves, flowers and fruits. So the main stem and branches is called the shoot system. It always help in support and conduction of water and minerals. So where I have told already when I showed the plant, the node to node center portion is called internode. So axil of leaf is called axillary bud and the tip of the shoot is called terminal bud or apical bud. So the axillary bud develops into a branch. The stem and leaves will continue vegetative parts of the plant. So the flowers are reproductive part of the plant which produces the fruits and seeds. The leaves synthesize carbohydrates by a process called photosynthesis. The stem means positively phototropic, means which come straight to the upper portion, which are towards light, and negatively geotropic. For the earth, it is negatively the down. So the stem is a ascending part which has branch, leaf, fruits. Function will be for spreading branches, conducts water and minerals which has inside xylem, and photosynthesis when it is green the plant is becoming big means tree that time those brown it will become that time the only during green time it is do photosynthesis it perform some stems perform function of storage of food we use different stems different functions some protection some support some will be for vegetative propagation as in asexual reproduction or sexual reproduction. So the modifications of stem here they have mentioned some so which are like different types which are like depending on the structures. So the diagrams I'm waiting. So if you see, suppose these diagrams you see carefully, the first one are underground stem modifications, the A column, which are underground. So, suppose for example potato and this is colocasia and this is ginger. So these are these are for pernation which store food we can eat these are not in root those carrot beetroot and radish I have told those are the root modifications don't get confused for these two these are stem modifications the root which are using as a store they are those the root modifications though are like carrot and all. For here, these underground stems, these are not underground roots, these are underground stems. So underground stems which are helpful. So that is the example you can see. The next portion is which aerial stem modifications, which are the tendrils. See the weaker portions here in this plant, the stem modified into tendril, the leftover portions which are there, the tendrils which are annuals in a yearly it will be there. Means it can live for only within a year only in some time it will go these are not come for long time so here it is spines how these are you can even from nodes roots are coming so the tendrils which develop into axillary bud of stem that are spirally coiled these are spirally coiled help plants to climb wherever it cuts the support in gourds all pumpkins example cucumber watermelon these all muskmelon watermelon even cucumber pumpkins All these come under the tendrils. Tendril stem, aerial stem modification, tendril stem modification, these come under that. Next one is thorns, nothing but spines. The axillary bud of stems get modified into woody, straight, pointed thorns, which are citrus. You can remember the lemon tree or the bougainvillea tree, like this. This is the bougainvillea. You can see the very spine portion, like these spines. Even these some arid regions modify into flattened phylloclades in Opuntia, the xerophytes, the cactus, even in phylloclade, cladode, they will give. These only perform chlorophyll and carry out photosynthesis. All these parts also will do this. See the even these oxalis which come under even other modifications. Suppose if you see these, there are several examples for these. See, there are many, they have given the types. We will discuss these now, which are like these are basically three types. See here, they have given the examples: underground stems of potato, ginger, turmeric, jamicund, colocasia are modified into store food. So the tendrils which are cucumber, pumpkin, watermelon, grape vines, they have given as grape also. And for thorns, these bougainvillea, citrus, when it is flattened, opuntia. So basically these stem modifications are three types: underground, subaerial and aerial. Don't confuse. Underground, in underground there are A, B, C like that. Bulb kind, tuber kind, rhizome, corm. The bulb which are onion, underground, onion also will come under that. The tuber which is potato, the rhizome which is ginger, and corm which is colocasia or yam or amorphobias, and in different languages different names are there. So the subaerial stem modification which they have shown here, the diagram, which is these oxalis is, see this plant, the types which are subaerial, which are suppose depending on that runner, this is come under runner, the oxalis come under runner because it runs all over the ground. So it is oxalis, and another one is stolon, which is strawberry, comes under that. And suckers, which are chrysanthemum, they have given example chrysanthemum for sucker, because the lateral branch, which is the signed branch, that is a node that grows, because the type which are from, when it is, see in some these, it is from this to this, some will come like for strawberry, this upon the, like this, see the arrow kind, like these, there the plant grows. So half set, suppose eichhornia, the half set rosette of leaves, which are tuft of roots found in aquatic plants, Pistia eichhornia. It is a like a short, thickened horizontal branch, the shorter, stouter than runner. So the dependent structure, when it is small, the name itself called half set. When it is long, it is a runner. So the tuft of leaves based on that. The next one is the tendril. Suppose for aerial, which are tendril, thor, phylloclade, cladode. They might give example, or for 1 mark they have given what is a phylloclade modification. Then you can write aerial stem modification, or else flattened stem which has distinct node and internodes. The phylloclade develops the what develops into many xerophytic plants and leaves modified into spines. Those are called phylloclade. And cladode is the internode length develops from the node, that is called asparagus. This is the detailed description of the stem modifications. Now I'll move on to leaf. You know, leaf is the kitchen of the plant, which perform mainly the photosynthesis. So the leaf is a always lateral, means side, that malignant lateral outside, flattened. The flats leaf will be generally flat, borne on the stem. So it contain bears burden in axil. The axillary bud will develop into a branch. The branch starts from the axillary bud where the growth happens. The leaf originated from shoot apical. Shoot means nothing but stem. Apical nothing but the tip. These are the key points you have to use in biology. That is why I am explaining in each point of view. The shoot apical meristem arranged in acropetal order means the down acropetal, the down long ones, lengthy ones, which are older ones, that up it will be younger ones. They are most important vegetative organs for the photosynthesis. So these contain leaf base, petiole and lamina. The leaf attached to stem by leaf base. Okay, so the next, the modifications also will be there. See, depending on the leaf arrangement also they have given pinnately compound, palmately compound. The pace is going very fast. Now I am going to explain what is the modifications of the leaf. So depending on the modification, these are two types. The even leaf diagram, if suppose you see the leaf diagram, it will have at apex and margin, blade, leaf vein, midrib and veinlet. See this the diagram. See the stipule is there. This is the hibiscus leaf. This is not thorn. This is called stipule. The connection between both these are called petiole. The outer which is this portion that is called lamina and central midrib and the side ones are lateral. So the swollen portion which is here it is called pulvinus. The name pulvinus, the leaf blade. These veins provide rigidity to leaf. Each one will have different functions. So these leaf perform transpiration, respiration, storage of vegetative propagation. These all even for veins provide rigidity to the leaf blade. Even depending on the vein, the arrangement of veins and veinlets, it is called venation. Depending on the venation, it is different types. See those are pinnately compound and palmately compound. See the venation also, reticulate venation and parallel venation. See the reticulate venation, which is like most of the hibiscus, mango, all other leaves which are dicot generally we see the pattern is reticulately arranged on the all over the leaf. So which are where it is parallel banana leaf, these are central midrib is like this, the parallelly only the leaves are running. So this is what about reticulate. Then the subtypes are there which we can discuss further if you understand the lesson, and we can go on to types of leaves which are when it is single leaf, it is simple leaf, lamina is entire, and compound leaf when it is the leaf which I have shown earlier, that is simple leaf, the Karipata leaf, and these leaves are compound leaves. Depending on these, if you see pinnately compound and palmately, what is this pinnately compound? The pinnately compound, nothing but the compound leaflets arranged on rachis. Center, at the center, the leaflets are arranging that side and this side. That is called pinnately compound. The simple leaf which is not dissected, only single one. The compound leaf it will be many. So example pinnately compound neem karipata will compound, and coming under that again unipinnate if it is single leaf, bipinnate many, like tripinnate moringa leaves many, even coriander compound decompound a compound leaf. So palmately compound is like the compound leaf which has the leaflets arranged at tip of the petiole. The silk cotton, that plant, even hibiscus come under that. Even depending on that unifoliate, bifoliate, when it is the number of the leaflets, the number is changing. The trifoliate, quadrifoliate, these are coming. So depending on that, even phyllotaxy, the pattern of arrangement of leaf on the stem is called phyllotaxy. If you see the phyllotaxy, the alternate, I'll go on to next page. So alternate phyllotaxy and composite alternate phyllotaxy, in this type of there is only one leaf at each node arranged in alternately, which is hibiscus. So opposite phyllotaxy that arranged in pairs at each node. So world phyllotaxy, opposite phyllotaxy diagram I am searching where they have given in textbook. See this, I got it now. See these diagrams. A is alternate. See the stem is like that. Two sides alternately those leaves which are opposite these leaves, that is called opposite leaves. If it is completely like flower, those are called whorled. That is why for alternate phyllotaxy they have given, you just remind the plants which has shown wherever you are going outside, you just observe these arrangements. When it is alternate, that is hibiscus. When it is opposite calotropis, they have given only for whorled, that is alstonia. Alstonia they have given. So these are the leaf. So modification of leaves. Suppose like if you see the arrangement phyllotaxy, what is phyllotaxy and types they will ask. So modification of leaves, if you see the diagrams, which are like first one is, see the diagram, you know this plant very well. This one is like a phylloid, which petiole in a leaf modified into flattened structure to perform photosynthesis. Even leaf spines, which are these spines and tendrils will be like this, as I have discussed already. In weak stemmed plants, leaves modified into wiry coil structures with the help of climbing support. That is a pea plant. For leaf spines, it is opuntia. So along with that, I can move on to again. Let me see. The next one will be inflorescence and flower, and I have made video for that, and these flower arrangements. Then I can go on to fruit and seed, ovule and ovary. See here, the fruit. Depending on the fruit, those are also different types. The fruit is a characteristic feature of flowering plant. It is a mature or ripened ovary developed after fertilization. If a fruit formed without fertilization of ovary, that is called parthenocarpic. Even for the organisms, it is parthenogenesis. There are many questions are coming under parthenocarpic. So generally, the fruit consists of pericarp and seeds. So see these fruits, pericarp and seeds. If you see the mango, the outer layer is called epicarp. When pericarp is thick and fleshy, you can able to eat. So here for mango, when pericarp is thick and fleshy, it is differentiated into epicarp, mesocarp, endocarp. So in coconut it is different. You can eat in mango, edible part is mesocarp. Okay, so see the dicotyledons plants. the seed. Okay, the next part is the seed. Okay, in mango and coconut, fruit is known drupe. The drupe, you can say the drupe. Example for the drupe, mango. They develop from monocarpellary superior ovaries. Monocarpellary, I have told you, single stigma or single carpel, single gynoecium. Superior ovaries are one seed. Inferior, superior, I will tell you the arrangement and those descriptions also. So edible, inner stony hard endocarp. Even for these fruits, generally, if you go down into that, suppose simple fruits, aggregate fruits, and multiple fruits, fleshy and dry fruits. So simple fruits, which are mango, lemon, orange, these fleshy fruits in that mango, tomato. The dry fruit, which are dehiscent and indehiscent, dry upon maturity. Ladyfinger comes under dehiscence. Dehiscence nothing but breaks upon maturity. Indehiscent, but the seed will be remain with that upon maturity also. That is cashew, castor, these aggregate nothing but Michaelia champaka, sampingi. Okay, more polycarpus, and multiple is jackfruit. The fruit develops from inflorescence. Many seeds will be there inside. So depending on that seed also, see they have given the next option as seed. You see, seed is a post fertilization first to fertilization product of ovule. A seed is discovered by the two walls, namely outer wall is called testa and inner wall is called tegmen, which develops into two integuments of the ovule. A seed that contain endosperm is called endospermic seed. Albuminous, example is maize. A seed without endosperm is called non-endospermic seed. Exalbuminous, albuminous, these are important. Endosperm, non-endosperm. For example, for endosperm it is maize, non-endosperm it is a bean. If you see the next diagram, see the dicotyledon and monocotyledon. The structure of dicotyledon we will learn first. See the diagram carefully. They have given what we are using the seed. See here, the outermost covering is the seed is called seed coat. The seed coat has two layers and testa and tegmen. The hilum, which is at the center, and micropyle. So above the hilum there is a pore called that is micropylum. Within the seed coat it is called embryo, consisting of embryonal axis. So and two cotyledons. You see the here when it is open up the diagram before when the seed comes grows, the stem comes up, the root goes down. That is nothing but the radical and plumule, the name. It is going down, it goes up. So these are the description of the part. So because of these cotyledons, two cots, this is called dicotyledons. When it is like this, that is called endosperm. Next, I am going to structure of monocotyledonous seed. Very important. For 5 marks or 3 marks, the question is coming is the diagram of these. Observe this description. I'll explain you now. See the diagram. The diagram you see, when it is a single, the embryo is here and the endosperm is surrounding part. This is for corn. Corn looks like this. If you see wheat or rice, elaborate structure is this. You see the names, you remember these scientific names carefully. I will give you the descriptive part of this. So the radical which is going down, that is called coleorhiza. So coleorhiza for the root and the stem which is coleoptile. See the descriptions of these. So what is endosperm and what is alluron layer here? Generally the monocotyledons are always endospermic, but not in some orchids which are non-endospermic. So seeds of cereals, nothing but maize, wheat, all these come under these. So the endosperm is bulky, and only endosperm is the part which we use generally to as a food, and the function of this is also store food. So outer layer is called, you see, alluron layer, the outer layer. Seed coat, fruit wall, the outer layer. Like in cell, how it is cell wall, plasma membrane, like that. Alluron layer is this alluron layer. The embryo is small, situated in a groove, one of the endosperm. So the embryo consists of one large and shield-shaped cotyledon that is called scutellum. The they might ask the question as scutellum. What is scutellum? You can write that the short axis is called plumule and radical. So the plumule and radical enclosed in sheaths called coleoptile and coleorhiza. Even in this lesson completely, next class will be only on floral diagram, how to write the floral diagram and floral formula. Thank you. Hope you understood this lesson. So